Since the U.S. Border Patrol began keeping records in 1998, more than 7,000 migrant deaths have been recorded along the U.S. Mexico border, though the numbers are likely far higher as not all remains are found. The majority of those recorded deaths, over 6,500, occurred along the Texas border. Dr. Lori Baker, who founded the Reunited Families Project in 2003, attributes this in part to land ownership, as Texas has extensive remote acreage along the border that is privately owned. Migrants view crossing in these areas as less of a risk in comparison to federal and tribal lands further west. While less regulated, crossing in these arid regions in South Texas means greater exposure to the elements, particularly extreme heat. Temperatures can reach 110 degrees or more during the summer months. Despite preventative measures, the deaths continue, as people flee poor conditions in their home countries, such as extreme poverty and violence, in search of a better life. The U.S. Border Patrol recorded 203 deaths along the Texas-Mexico border in fiscal year 2018. When human remains are found by ranchers or local law enforcement officials, they are often buried quickly in local cemeteries without being identified. Forensic scientists cannot bring back the dead, but their work helps to create a record of their existence, restoring some of their lost humanity. For the first several years of the Reuniting Families Project, Baker says much of her work centered on running DNA from Arizona, as they had an overwhelming amount of cases that needed analyzed. Beginning in 2012, Baker started bringing Baylor anthropology students to conduct voluntary exhumations at cemeteries in towns near the Texas-Mexico border, including Del Rio and Falfurrias. Remains are analyzed to create a biological profile, which includes estimations on age, sex, height, and geographic origin. Any trauma or pathology is noted, and personal effects are meticulously cataloged. The uncovered individuals told a complex story of who is immigrating to the U.S.
We're seeing a lot of Chinese, a lot of Africans, and some Middle Easterns. There are more and more people coming from other places and escaping other types of situations. And now I hear that that's grown substantially in the last couple of years. So not just Mexico and Central America, but other nations are contributing more substantially.
Baker says they also began finding more women and children.
So in Texas, we weren't just getting Mexican nationals, we were getting a host of variation of individuals. And so lots of women, at some points we were almost 50-50, lots of families and children crossing, and lots of age ranges because of families crossing. And so then we see that reflected in our population of those that don't survive.
Perhaps most surprising, Baker says, was what the condition of many skeletons revealed. In Arizona, skeletons often exhibited indicators of stress, poor nutrition, and other health issues, but many remains in Texas were from generally healthy individuals who had received medical and dental care, including porcelain crowns. More affluent people were beginning to cross the border, illustrating that poverty was not the only motivating factor for making the perilous journey across miles of barren terrain.
Couldn't live safely in their countries anymore. It was really too violent, and so it was less of an economic factor and probably a detriment to them because they lived fairly well where they were. Well, they couldn't live if they stayed there. So that was an interesting trend to see.